Biodiversity is the collective term for the diversity of life on planet Earth. It is the result of 4.5 billion years of evolution. Biodiversity is responsible for our food and plays a critical role in our weather, water, soil, air, and more. In recent times, our food systems have been following the cheaper food paradigm with a goal of producing more food at lower economic costs. In order to achieve these goals, an increase in inputs such as fertilizers, pesticides, energy, land, and water is needed. This paradigm leads to a vicious cycle. The lower cost production of food creates an increase in demand for food that has to be produced at even lower costs through more intense and aggressive production techniques and further land clearance. The conversion of natural ecosystems for crop production or pasture has been the principal cause of habitat loss. The area of land occupied by agriculture has increased almost sixfold since the 1600s. Currently, cropping and animal husbandry occupy about 50% of the world's habitable land, and behind this rapid expansion, animal farming has been the main driver, with 40 million square kilometers of habitable land seized for food production. This process of converting land for agriculture results in habitat destruction and biodiversity loss. Natural ecosystems where an enormous variety of wild species live, such as forests, are cleared to give way for land to be used for farming and growing very few domesticated crops and animals. Indirectly, the food system also drives biodiversity loss through its contribution to climate change. The global food system is responsible for more greenhouse gas emissions than any other aspect of our lives. When taking into account all emissions associated with agriculture and food production, the food system accounts for almost 30% of all anthropogenic emissions of greenhouse gases, as shown on this table. Our global food system is the primary driver of biodiversity loss. Over the past 50 years, the conversion of natural ecosystems for crop production or pasture has been the principal cause of habitat loss, in turn reducing biodiversity. The global rate of species extinction today is orders of magnitude higher than the average rate over the past 10 million years. Current food production depends heavily on unsustainable inputs and practices such as the use of pesticides, the excessive use of water, and agricultural methodologies such as monocropping. Without reform of our food system, biodiversity loss will continue to accelerate. Firstly, global dietary patterns need to converge around diets based more on plants. Such a shift would not only improve the health of the ecosystems, but also the health of human populations. Secondly, more land needs to be protected and set aside for nature. Thirdly, we need to farm in a more sustainable way, limiting the use of aggressive inputs and replacing monocultures with polycultures. Biodiversity loss is accelerating, and the dietary habits of many populations and the way food is produced is driving it. A comprehensive approach focusing simultaneously on dietary habits, land protection, and food production needs to be implemented to stop and try to reverse the current biodiversity loss trend. Governments should work on initiatives to identify land that needs to be protected, develop policies, and work on legislation to do so. Individuals must educate themselves and develop awareness about biodiversity loss and the risks that it entails for the future of the planet and for human beings, and they should adjust their habits in a responsible and conscious way so as to help minimize the problem and eventually reverse the trend instead of pouring more fuel into it with selfish, ignorant, and irresponsible eating behaviors.